How you doing, everybody? We are going to do a little moment of Zen while I put together the saber stand. So part of the purpose of meditation is to take the stuff that you are thinking about, fixating on, whatever, be able to put it down. And there are all kinds of ways to do that. One of the ways is to do tasks that require you to pay attention to what you're doing so that you are mindfully in the moment. So that's the whole point. I'm not thinking about what happens next. I'm not focusing on what I have to do later. I am not worrying about something that's outside of my control. I am doing one part of this task at a time, intentionally and mindfully. But more importantly, I'm in my moment. Not in what was before, not in what was next, or what will be next. Grammar. But on this moment. And so I realize most of these that I've done so far have been applying a screen protector, because it's the same kind of task. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to use your hands. It's not just a mental exercise or whatever. It's a combination of mental and physical. And for me personally, that really helps. And so what you have to find for you is the thing that works. And so it may be things that work for me, it may not. Some people find building a Lego set to be very meditative because it gets them in the moment. They have a series of tasks that they perform and complete. Other people will find that same thing to be stressful. It causes them to feel anxiety because of the way that they need to concentrate to do that kind of task or whatever. And so there isn't one right way to meditate. At least not one that I can tell you that will universally apply. There are many ways, and you have to find the one of those ways or the many of those ways that help you be more present. And when I put things down while I'm meditating, mentally put things down, like stuff that I have to do after I finish this, I'm gonna put those concerns away, because I will pick them up again after I've finished this, after I'm done with this. And if you have a series of things that you are like trying to keep track of and you are worried about keeping track of them all, then meditation isn't going to help you control that more. A list is going to help you control that more. So then instead of you being responsible for holding all of the information and all of the tasks, you offload that onto something else. And whether that's a notebook or a notes document in your phone or a Google Doc or whatever, it doesn't matter where you put it, but you put it somewhere so that you don't have to feel like you are the linchpin, the fulcrum. And if there is something that you are anxious about or worried about that is outside of your control, then part of a meditative act is to allow yourself a few moments to not be thinking about whatever that is. At the moment, personally, I am very worried about what the tariff is going to do to my business and to a lot of things, but specifically what it's going to do to my business, because that's going to be tough. It's going to affect the prices of a lot of things and a lot of my product. And so I can't control it. It is something that is going to happen to me, that is going to affect me, that it has all kinds of ways that it could affect me. But it is very likely not going to affect me positively. Like the odds of it being some type of positive effect are functionally zero. And so worrying about that doesn't help me. I have no control over it. I cannot change it. And so worrying about it accomplishes me nothing. If there were things that I could do or that I could be preparing or whatever, spending time worrying instead of doing those things basically makes the problem into a double whammy, which I also don't need. There's not really a whole lot that I can do right now that I'm not already doing. And so that is part of why I'm making these little videos with you. Oops. With you, for you, I don't know. Because these stands are things that I need, oh boy, for the displays, or for the various lightsaber shots. My goodness, we're just going to pick up a different one. Stop trying to make that work. We're going to make something else work. And so this little video that I'm making with you is also accomplishing something that I need to accomplish to get it off my to-do list, and to do one of the things that is within my power, to try to sell lightsabers, which is to be able to create a cool display that can help me showcase some of the many, many cool things that are on the site, because I have so much stuff now. There are a lot of really good things. We're down to our last two pieces, guys. But I hope that makes sense. That having the moments, or the activity or the action where I'm not just locking my mind away. I'm not just escaping into something else, right? Because this isn't escaping. I'm not disconnecting from the world. I'm being present in this moment, and that's the difference between like some type of activity where I get to kind of disconnect, or I get to check out, right? And whether that's scrolling my phone, playing a video game, reading a book, watching a TV show, like all of those things are viable activities, but they're not meditative, because you don't reconfigure yourself in the act of doing them necessarily. I guess there's probably ways that you could. There are definitely some books that I have read that helped me unfuck myself when I was working through some shit. And so there are definitely like some shows that meet that criteria as well. But come on, you, get in there. But if you understand what the goal is, if you understand the target, which in this case is, being more present, being able to reprioritize, because it's sometimes when we get overwhelmed, we prioritize the wrong stuff and then make our situations worse instead of better. And recognizing that there are things that you can't control, and if you're fixating on them, figuring out what to do about that. Like, maybe you talk to your therapist about it, maybe you let a friend know that you need to talk about it. Those are all things that help. For some people, the act of prayer is meditative because they take the things they can't control and they hand it off to a higher power, because if you believe in prayer, after you've prayed about something, that's kind of all you can do. And so then you have to stop worrying about it and do the things that you can do. I don't remember who I heard the quote from, worry or pray. There is no sense in doing both, but it's a really good one. I started some practices during COVID when I was really terrified that the dojo was going to close. That were the ways in which I would hand off the stuff that I couldn't control, the things that were outside of my power. All of that, I figured out how to hand that off. So that I could focus on doing the things that the dojo needed me to do to keep the dojo breathing. I couldn't just curl into a ball and give up. That wasn't an option. Yeah, that's all the time we have for today. This is one of the vertical lightsaber stands. Different sabers don't necessarily display very well in this, so kind of depending on what you order. Sometimes you'll get these, sometimes you won't. Like the Darth Maul, as an example, this is a terrible stand because it just falls over. But there's a lot of sabers that I like how these display. And when I go to conventions, I really like these because it makes it easier for you to pick the lightsaber up. It gets presented to you in a way that is really easy to take, lift, and then put back. As compared to the sword style stands that leave them horizontal. And so I like to use these at the booth. And I like to use these at the shelf, or on the shelf at the dojo. Thanks very much. May the Force be with you.